And let's get on to the agenda for today. So that's the introduction. We're going to talk about some of the pitfalls of modern culture and get into my journey and my trip to the Amazon to discuss 7 things I learned in the Amazon jungle. And then we're going to put things into action. We're going to discuss 3 easy ways you can take action today. And this is for you, for your health, your nutrition, your movement, your mind, getting all that back in flow so you can leave here today feeling really good with some good action items. And then at the end, like I mentioned, we'll have a Q&A feature and I'll answer as many questions as I can and make sure everybody's happy before we leave. So here it is. In May of 2018, I was in the heart of the Amazon jungle, living with the Yawanawa indigenous people. And for over a month, I lived in a community that had 0 connection to the outside world. There was no Wi-Fi. It didn't exist anywhere. I had no idea what was going on with my wife, with my dog, no idea what was going on with the world for over 30 days. And as you know, I've always been fascinated with ancestral health, and I'm interested in what they ate, how they moved, and how they lived. And the more I go down this path, the more I seem to discover about myself. And I felt truly called to learn from people who were living in a more native way. And during my time there, I received countless lessons about community, leadership, and my own personal purpose that has carried over to so many aspects of my life. And as I went through a very sacred rite of passage, I found myself becoming a student of the tribe, the elders, their way of life. And over 5 years later, I'm still unpacking everything I witnessed and experienced. I'm still integrating it, still thinking about it almost every day. And as I look back, I find that those who taught me the most lessons, were the children, were the elders that came through, and the stories that were shared, the experiences I had. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that with all of you today. So that desire to go learn from Native people really came from recognizing that a lot of what we're doing in our modern culture, the way we're eating, the way we're moving, the way we're living, there's some pitfalls to that, right? So like you, I come from modern culture, and it's a culture where we have radical advancements in technology, we have industry, we have big cities, tall buildings, concrete, billboards, and football teams. And we're constantly bombarded by consumerism through television, social media, email, notifications. We sit behind desks, we eat fast food, drink soda, take medications, turn on fluorescent lights, watch flat screen TVs, and look down at smartphones that can tell us anything about anything that's ever happened throughout human history in a matter of seconds. And these types of progresses, it has its benefits, right? It has its positives, but can also have a negative impact on our physical, mental, and emotional well-being, and as well as our spiritual well-being. So, for instance, things happen as a consequence of this human tank that we live in. We get aches and pains. Our neck, shoulders, back, hips, and neck throb from sitting hours of poor posture. We've forgotten how to move in many ways. We've forgotten how to carry ourselves. We eat lots of sugar, toxic fats, artificial ingredients. We get inflamed, we take pills, we die from modern diseases like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity, Alzheimer's, and neurological disorders, right? And in so many ways, we're a culture that's lost its way. And some are even saying we're actually on the brink of extinction. Which is a lot of good points to that if you look at it from the declining birth rate and what's happening. With that being said, there are ways to reverse those things, like I mentioned before. So what I want to do is dive into the 7 life-changing philosophies I learned during my time in the Amazon jungle, and really tell you more about me as a human and my experiences and my place, so that we can all share a little more and connect with ourselves, connect with nature, really form a community about what we're doing here at NativePath, and our mission and our values all come from this. So let me first get into the Yawanawa people and who they are. So they're actually a combination of around 10 tribes that have been around for thousands and thousands of years that merged together to form what we call Yawanawa people. So Yawa means people, Nawa means boar, people of the boar. That's what they call themselves. And they almost lost their ways to missionaries and rubber tappers who came in the early part of the 20th century. And when that happened, they almost went extinct. That tribe almost went extinct and got down to about 20 people in the 70s. And this man that you see here in the middle, his name is Tata. And he was around before the missionaries came in. And when the missionaries came in and the rubber tappers came in, they were told, You're not supposed to do any of your traditions anymore in this tribe. Don't sing your songs, don't pray your prayers. We want you to do it this way. Stop doing it that way. And Tata and his brothers, what they would do when the missionaries were in, they would still go deeper back in the jungle, and they would still keep these traditions alive and do everything that really kept the tribe together. And in the 70s, the Yamanawa people got together and they kicked out the missionaries. They kicked out the rubber tappers, and everything was happening there. And they had this resurgence of the tribe. And what Tata did is he brought back those traditions. He taught everybody the songs and the stories and the prayers, and they started rallying around it again. That tribe that got down to like 20 people, it started to grow and grow and grow. And now it's over 1,100 people. And they have 10 different villages scattered all across the Amazon. Tata passed away in 2016. This was about a year and 2 months before I went down there, but I could still feel his presence, and everyone was still talking about and telling stories about him and honoring all the things that he taught, all the principles that he taught that I'm going to be sharing with you, many of which I'm going to be sharing with you. But the Yawanawa people have had a major influence on the world. So I mentioned Avatar earlier, and the team that made Avatar, in order to understand indigenous life and the way they lived and the connection with nature, what they did is they went and also studied these Yawanawa people. And it had a very big influence on the way Avatar was created. Actually, if you see the second Avatar, if you've seen the most recent one, The Way of the Water, there's a part where there's a little child that gets injured, and to heal this child, you can see a healing being done on someone, and they make all these sounds and blow air and everything. That is directly from this tribe and a practice that they did. So I just want to share that, because this little tribe in the middle of the Amazon jungle and what they do and how they do it, the message they have for the world has now found a way to carry itself out through the world, through art and through different things. Joaquin Phoenix has been down there. You can Google Joaquin Phoenix and Tata and see a little video. Joaquin Phoenix, when he won Best Actor, he mentioned indigenous people, and the things he learned from that all came from his experience with Tata. Very, very beautiful man, very powerful man. And I felt very honored to go there. So here's where it was, right? It wasn't like a plane ride away. It was a long trip to get there. We're talking the deep, deep jungle of Brazil. So it was a full 24-hour plane ride, another full day car ride, and then we stopped at this little town, and then another 6-hour car ride, and then we came to this little harbor town here. And from this harbor town, it was a full 2-day boat ride. They have these little canoes with motors on them. It was a full 2-day boat ride, and to get to this little village called Matum, in the middle of nowhere. It's like in the complete garden of the jungle, right? It has a little pond in the middle, and there's about 110 people that live there. And this is a beautiful place. This is a place where this tribe, this Matum is like a university for their studies. And this is a place where people in the tribe, and now people from all over the world, will come to do studies and learn more about the spirituality and the native practices of these people. So when I was there, I did what's called a dieta, and a dieta stands for diet, right? It's like removing some things in your life, and the whole intention of the dieta is really to gain and practice spiritual strength. So we go to the gym and lift weights so our muscles get stronger, but there's also a lot of practices that they're done with indigenous people in the form of initiations. Too simple. And I say that because in our culture, we lack formal initiations in our culture, and we make up for it for things like hazing and gang initiations. But the desire to be initiated into something, to go on a rite of passage, it's something that our ancestors have been doing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, to cultivate leadership, personal responsibility, and more self-awareness, right? And that's a big part of why I went, is I'm looking for that for myself, things that I can do to improve my spiritual health outside of the way I eat, the way I move, the way I live. Like who am I, and my place in reality? How can I become stronger in my spirit? And that was a big intention. So here's what we did. I mentioned it was a 30-day practice, a 30-day study. And what they did is we had the village of Matum, and what they did with me and a few other people I was there with, is they took us about a 45-minute walk away outside of the village. And we were alone in the middle of the jungle. You can see here this hut, that was my hut. I would sleep on the front porch there with a fly net over me. And I could not see anything other than jungle all around me, completely isolated, no doors, no windows that were closed, very exposed to nature. And this was an initiation study that I did to this tribe. And much of it was spent completely alone in the jungle. And a big part of what we did was fast. So I had very, very little to eat. I had very, very little to drink. They would give us these little cassava balls about the size of a golf ball, and that was all we ate every day. And they would take the cassava and mesh it with some water, and we have a little bit of a drink. So a little bit to drink and a little bit to eat every day. And as the 30 days went on, about halfway through, we would gradually add a little bit back in, a little bit more liquid, a little bit more food. You know, the first part of it was spent in isolation by myself, in my own thoughts, not talking to anyone, just listening to nature and being with the insects and the animals and the birds. And about halfway through that, we were connecting more with the tribe and being with people. It was a lot of time spent studying their songs, their prayers, their traditions, their stories. You know, we would get together around a fire at night, and they would share things with us. We would record it, and we would go back and study it. And when I was in this hut, I was either studying, sleeping, practicing the songs, or I was raking the leaves. That was another big part of it. It's because the jungle comes in. Like if you don't rake the leaves and push the leaves away and the twigs, the insects just keep coming in. And that was a whole thing that took me a while to get used to, is just being in nature, being that immersed in nature. When I went to sleep, it wasn't like sleeping in my home where it was really quiet and I couldn't hear anything. The jungle, when the sun went down and the moon went up, some of the loudest things I've ever heard is all kinds of creatures making noises, not knowing what's out there. And to be honest, a bit concerned for my safety, being that exposed in nature with no connection to the outside world. If something happened, I was like, whoa, who do I call? I can't call the ambulance. I can't call my wife. I can't call anybody. I just have to trust, you know, is a whole new thing for me. I slept with a machete in my hut. I was concerned about jaguars and snakes. It took me a while to even adapt to that, right? Completely offline from the outside world, fully immersed in nature in a way that I have never been before. So this practice, taking the person away from their home, right? It reminds me of this thing right here, right? So there's this analogy that I always hear about where one fish goes up to two little fish. It says, "Morning, boys. How's the water?" And then the two little fish go, "What the hell is water?" Right? And they have no idea what water is because they've always been in water. They've never known anything other than that. It's the only place they know, right? In order for the fish to really understand that they're in water, they have to take them out of water so they can go, oh, there's this whole other way of doing things. And now I can look back at the way I was living and the place I'm living and everything I'm doing. And it creates a higher level of awareness. In the same way, the practice of going in the jungle, in isolation for these indigenous people, away from the village, away from the comforts of the tribe, away from food, away from drink, it's like getting out of the water so that person can look back in their life, right? Look back in their life. And when I was doing that, I began to gain a lot of understandings. And the best way I can summarize some of those understandings about what was going on in my life and the appreciation that was starting to come in my life for the little things I had and the abundance I was feeling for the most simple things, it's summarized in this quote right here. So this is abundance, a quote on abundance, right? Acknowledging the good in your life is the foundation of abundance. The source of all abundance is not outside of you. It is part of who you are. However, start by acknowledging and recognizing abundance without. See the fullness of life all around you, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the display of magnificent flowers outside a florist's shop, biting into a succulent fruit, or getting soaked in an abundance of water falling from the sky. The fullness of life is there at every step. The acknowledgement of that abundance that is all around you awakens the dormant abundance within. Then let it flow out. When you smile at a stranger, there is already a minute outflow of energy. You become a giver. Ask yourself often, what can I give here? How can I be of service to this person, this situation? You don't need to own anything to feel abundant. Although if you feel abundant consistently, things almost certainly will come to you. Abundance only comes to those who already have it. And so as I read that, I'm reminded of the feeling I had of like sitting there in the jungle, by myself, nothing to eat, nothing to drink, and beginning for the first time to feel gratitude and feel appreciation for things that I really took for granted, right? Took for granted in my life, which brings me to the first thing that I learned in the jungle was the power of gratitude and appreciation. When I was away from my wife and my dog and my home and my family and my friends and my business partners and the people I work with in my community, when I was away from all that, when I was out of the water, I really began to love and appreciate all those people in my life and started appreciating all the most simple things that I never even thought about appreciating, right? For instance, like my home, my water, waking up in the morning and being able to put a cup underwater and have clean water, being able to take a shower on demand, being able to go to the AC unit and adjust the temperature to whatever degrees I want, right? My bed, these comfortable, clean sheets that were just easy for us to clean right away. Like so many things that I took for granted. And this, what it started to do was help me realize how much I have and the appreciation I have for those things. And I began to feel so much love and so much abundance. And when I came home and really let that sink in, because it took a while to really let it sink in, but my relationships improved. I started expressing to people how much they mean to me. I started calling my mom every Sunday, telling her I love her. I started waking up in the morning and rolling over and giving my wife a kiss and telling her I love her and going to pet my dog and saying how much you mean to me. I started to tell everybody at NativePath how much I appreciate them for being a part of this company and doing what we're doing. And I started to encourage them to consistently express appreciation for each other, for what they're doing to each other as teammates, and also to our customers, to the people we're guiding and the people we're serving, right? And when I I'm just feeling emotional about it. Just that seed of appreciation has carried over to like every aspect of my life. But I wouldn't know that if I stayed in the water, right? It's getting out and being like, oh, there it is, right? It's like kind of that thing that you hear, like distance makes the heart grow fonder. You go on a vacation and you really love your home after that. It was kind of like that and amplified. This practice of Native people going away, coming back, that's what they use to cultivate that sense of appreciation in their life, right? So the next thing I learned about was the power of community. So I mentioned the first half of this 30-day experience, this 30-day dieta, isolation, alone, like truly primarily, like from primal standpoint, fearing for my own life, right? Sleeping with a machete. And when finally about halfway through, they let us be with others. They let us be with each other and sleep with the tribe. And I remember feeling so good that another human being was sleeping close to me because I felt safe and I felt supported. And I felt like I was a part of something in the middle of this chaos called nature, and I wasn't alone anymore. And it really clicked in me how much the human being, from a biological standpoint, needs a tribe and needs a community, right? Where everyone is on the same team, and the human team. Nature really exposes how much we need each other and how much we need to work together, right? And community, what I've discovered, is really cultivating community. And we do this here at NativePath. It's a sense of purpose and it's a sense of belonging, right? It doesn't mean we all have the same views and agree on everything, but that sense of purpose and that sense of belonging is so incredibly important. When a human being does not have a sense of purpose and not have a sense of belonging, it will send them down a rabbit hole of loneliness and emotional issues. And it doesn't matter who you are. It truly will. That sense of purpose and that sense of belonging. One of the biggest reasons people get depressed, have emotional issues in our culture is their relationship to work. They wake up on a Monday and they go to a place and they do some things. And it's typically in a place where they have no sense of purpose and no sense of belonging. And they get very confused and they get very sad, and it's easy to get depressed in that way because they don't feel like they're a part of something, right? So when I came back from that, I realized how important that was, and began to cultivate community in every aspect of my life, where I began to look at people and really ask myself, how can I create a sense of purpose and a sense of belonging for this other person? How can I create a sense of purpose and a sense of belonging for everybody on the team here at NativePath? How can we create a sense of purpose and a sense of belonging for our customers? It is so incredibly important. It's in our biology. It's what we want, right? Community is connection. I'm a big Brené Brown fan, and she has some great points on community. Community is one of our core values here at NativePath ever since this experience. So what has community meant to you? How has it helped you in the quality and the health of your life? Connection, the way Brené Brown defines it, is that energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, and when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from relationship. Big key part there is seen, heard, and valued. I wanted to make sure as many people as I could, they felt seen by me, they felt heard by me, and they felt valued by me. And it also got me clear on my own needs, that I too need to be seen, I too need to feel heard, I too need to feel valued. When it's not in alignment, I need to speak up, right? That's how the tribe works. And then there's this idea of fitting in versus belonging. There's a difference. And I think there's a great distinction we need to make here, right? Fitting in is becoming who you think you need to be in order to be accepted, right? I think I need to dress this way or talk this way or have this opinion to fit in, right? That's not really who I am. I'm just trying to fit in and adapt to who I am according to the way I think I need to be. And then belonging is being your authentic self. And then knowing no matter what happens, you belong to you. You belong to you. It takes courage. It takes trust to do that. But when we are fully accepted by other people, when we allow others to be as they are, when we allow ourselves to be as they are, remove the judgments, then we have that sense of purpose and belonging. Then we can come into a space where people feel seen and valued and heard. That creates good emotional health. When we have good emotional health, it's a lot easier to take action on the things that really move the needle in our life, right? So that hit me in a huge, huge way. Third thing I learned was the power of service, right? So the entire tribe, when I was there, and I watched them, the things they were doing, how they were doing, they were in service all the time, doing something in service, like service to each other, service to the traditions of the tribe, service to the jungle. The way that they look at it, they're the guardians, the caretakers of the jungle. They're looking out for the birds and the animals and the insects and the plants and all those things. Service to the world, right? From their perspective, when they say songs, they sing songs and they say prayers, they're not doing it just for themselves. They're doing it for the whole world. They're fully aware that there's a world out there ready to set off a nuclear bomb at any second. And they're just this little tribe in the jungle, fully aware of it, praying for humans all across humanity, right? Selflessly, in service at all times. They would get together at night around a fire. Everybody's in service, trying to make this little environment better. That person's getting the logs. That person's raking over there. This person's getting the guitar strings ready to sing these songs. Everybody's in service all the time, right? So it reminds me of some things, right? Martin Luther King said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? What are you doing for others? It has helped me in my life, right? When I'm out of my own head and like Chad and all the things worry about me, I just ask myself, like, how can I make my wife's life a little bit better today? How can I make my dog's life a little bit better? How can I make my friend's life better? My family? How can I make our customers' life better? How can I make that stranger's life just a little bit better? Service can look like a smile. Service can look like just a pat on the back. Service can look like a text message to a friend, just say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm thinking of you. Hope you're doing well. Service can also mean your order didn't get there on time. I'm going to send you a new bottle, right? It comes in a lot of ways, but it's just making someone else's life a little bit better. And here's the thing when I notice about service. When I step into service, when I say I'm going to serve this person or this team or this group, this entity, whatever, I get stronger, right? I immediately get out of whatever victim mentality I have and I shift states into being of service, into being a guide for people. It makes me stronger. It makes me more resilient, right? The more I serve, the more I receive. I'll say it again, the more I give, the more I receive. The more value I add in other people's lives, the more I receive. Like over and over, it's never failed. It's never been like, oh, you did a lot and didn't come back. Always comes back every single time. The power of service. This tribe was always in service, everything they do. And then is the power of music. I mentioned Tata, right? And how what he did is he would, when the missionaries came in and the missionary said, no, I want you to sing these hymns. Tata was like, okay, but I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna keep singing the songs that this tribe has been singing for thousands and thousands of years. Missionaries came away, and what really brought everybody back together was music, was song, singing, 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 right? Music is what kept the tribe together. They didn't have a declaration of independence. They didn't have a set of rules. They didn't have, this is how we do it, this is how we don't do it. They had songs. They had songs, and the songs brought them together. They didn't write anything down. Everything was handed down from generation to generation to generation, grandparents to grandchildren. That's how things were written down, right? Every song, and everyone would sing, right? They would have little kids around the fire, 2 years old, 3 years old, singing these songs. Hundreds of people. Kids would come out of the womb singing, right? Singing. Now, when I never sung a song in my life, never took a choir song, never took a music class. The way I love music, but in my mind, like, singing was only for rock stars. Singing was only for the people on the radio, right? And for me to listen to and observe. It wasn't actually for me to participate in, right? When I went there, they said, no, that's not how you're going to do it. That's not how we do it here. Everybody sings, right? Everybody sings. So as scary as it was for me, as much as my mind wanted to judge everything, I just began singing. And I would record their songs and go back and study them, practice on my own. And then they would have me come back around the fire at night and ask me to sing for them. Some of the most scary, intimidating moments in my life, singing indigenous songs in front of indigenous people for them and listening to them give me feedback and say, no, you didn't do it right here. Well, you got it right here. That was good. Keep going, right? And it made me realize all these things about music that, like, still to this day, I just keep opening up. I came back from that experience and I fell in love with music. I started singing every day. I got a vocal coach. I got a guitar coach. I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. I'm still practicing every single day. And it's what it's done for me in terms of leadership. It's gotten me used to using sound out of my mouth. I'm getting used to projecting sound in different ways, sometimes low, sometimes high, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. All this helps me become a better speaker and a better leader, right? The best leaders have the best voices. In this tribe, the ones leading were the best singers, the best musicians. Is a natural thing that the people will gather around and listen to the ones that sound the best, right? I observed that, and I never sang a thing in my life, and now it's become a practice, and now I sing for others, and it's inspired others to start singing. I've witnessed over and over again the healing power of music, how someone can hear a song and it immediately gets them out of their head and into their heart, and they start feeling things, and they release emotions. It could be happiness, it could be sadness. So much emotion can come from music. And when you think about it, especially when we create music inside of us, it is energy moving through us, like literally sound energy moving through us, vibrating our cells. Everything's changed about me from singing and playing music. It is incredible what it does. So who else loves music? Who else loves music in the chats? Just type music or something. Who else likes to sing? Who's your favorite musician? What has music done for you? Bob Marley is one of my idols. It's all about freedom and music, and brought so many people together. Music brings us together. Music changes the world. And Bob Marley said one good thing about music is that when it hits you, you feel no pain, right? And I've saw that to be true. There's been incredible challenges in my life, behind the scenes, and I just keep coming back to music, and I find so many answers and so much comfort in music. And then one of the things they talked about a lot in this tribe was dreams. They were always talking about dreams. We would sit around the fires and people would just be like, so what did you dream about last night? And what are you dreaming about now? Huge on dreams. And what they said about dreams and this time that we were in, this time of study, this dieta, this initiation, they said dreams are like planting seeds, right? And this time that we were in of little to eat, little to drink, they'd say weak in the body, strong in the spirit. This time that we were in is like fertile soil, right? So any seeds that we plant during this time, that's what's going to be growing for the rest of their life, right? And they said those seeds, those dreams that you have that you want to plant into your life, what you need to do in order to bring them into reality of your life is you need to water them and nurture them and make sure, just like any other seed, that it get what it needs. A seed needs sunlight, a seed needs water, it needs good soil, it needs all the environmental factors to help it live and thrive, right? Our dreams need the same thing, right? Our dreams need the same thing, right? And I get so inspired by dreams, right? I mentioned Martin Luther King earlier. He has the dream. I have a dream that one day the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down at a table of brotherhood. I have a dream. He said that. And I was like, you crazy? He dreamed a big, 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 audacious dream. And sometimes it looks like, oh, we're going towards that dream. But we're always going in that direction, even if it looks like we're not sometimes, right? Because that seed got planted for other people to hear. One of the things this man said to me, this man is Mazzini. He's the chief of this village named Mattoon. He was the #1 student under Tata. And he said, when you dream your dreams, he's like, dream really big dreams, right? Dream dreams that, like, even in your own lifetime, you may not be able to accomplish, right? He said, the thing about it is, if you dream a dream so big, right, and you get really passionate about that dream, and you keep waking up every morning, you can have that dream in your vision, and you start speaking towards that dream, you start taking action towards that dream, he said other people will feel that dream. They will be inspired by that dream. And even if you pass away, the inspiration behind that dream, the power of that dream will be so felt by others in the community, in the tribe, that they will go on and create the dream for you, right? So that really got me thinking about, what is my dream? What is my dream? What's like a practical, tangible dream that I have? I keep coming back to, like, this first hospital. Some of y'all heard me say, like, this first hospital that I worked at in Houston, Texas, Methodist Hospital, world renowned for its treatment in heart disease. And on the first floor of that hospital was a McDonald's, right? And I would work with people who just got out of heart surgery, and they would ask me to wheel them down to McDonald's to eat a Big Mac. And I would take them down there. They would eat a Big Mac and drink a Coke, the same foods that got them to have the heart disease in the first place. And I would see other doctors and nurses in white coats all eating a number 3 value meal. And I was really confused by that, right? Because it's an old system that we have here in healthcare, and it's gotten a lot of people in trouble. And it's misled people in a lot of different ways, right? We have a food industry that knows nothing about health, and a health industry that knows nothing about food. What the heck is a McDonald's doing at a hospital, let alone a heart hospital? So my dream, this is my dream for this hospital, right? Is that I dream that this hospital will one day turn into an apartment, because heart disease will be a thing of the past. You say, oh, that's crazy. There's no way that's going to wait for it. See what happens. Heart disease is a very new thing to the human species. It only happened once we started to live in this human tank with all the sugars and all the toxic fats and all the things we're going to talk about later on that we want to remove from. It can go away, but we got to take action, right? The dream is to turn that hospital into an apartment. I think we could probably have a really nice apartment in there. Next one, which is important according to this dream. Once you have your dreams, you got to realize it's important that you are the creator of your life. This is where I kind of turn the lessons around to you, and we put things into action. So this is where my story becomes your story. One of the biggest lessons I learned was personal responsibility. There's a saying that says, it's about the rabbi. The rabbi is the geologist of the soul, and he can show you where to dig and what to dig for, but the digging, you must do yourself, right? It's taking action. Personal responsibility takes you out of victim mentality. This modern culture is just baiting us, just begging us to just say to ourselves, there's nothing I can do about it. Someone else did something bad to me. That thing happened to me, nothing I can, and we just sit in the mud. We stay stuck in the mud, right? That is not personal responsibility. That's staying in a victim mode. We got to get out of that and be the creators, be the heroes in our own life. So get this, there's a direct correlation between responsibility and personal power. If you're struggling with something in your life, take a look at it. Take a look at personal responsibility. Who holds the responsibility? The more responsibility you hold, the more personal power you have. Personal power is the currency we're all looking for. So take a moment and imagine a world full of responsible people, what that would look like. No more complaining, no more moaning and griping. Personal responsibility, making our beds, raking our leaves, shopping, cooking our food, being nice to ourselves, being nice to each other. Personal responsibility, taking care of our space, right? And before that voice in your head says, wouldn't that be nice? Remember, the perception of this world starts with you, right? It starts with you. It looks out of your lens. Wouldn't it be nice for you to have that? It would be nice. You can do that, starting with you. Which brings me to the next point, taking action, right? Taking action, getting on the path, staying on the path, right? Now it's time to take action and integrate these lessons into life. And this was the big thing they always said to us. It's like, you can come here and just come to this jungle and like sing these songs, but if you don't like integrate anything into your life, then it's for nothing, right? If I don't stay in a place of appreciation, it's for nothing. If I don't cultivate community and just think, oh, that was nice, it's for nothing. If I don't maybe pick up a song and play music, things they taught me, all for nothing. Nothing happens, right? Taking things into action. We can talk about all the good foods to eat and all the good practices to help you feel better and lose weight. Nothing happens, right? So this comes back to me, to you, taking everybody, us, taking responsibility for our health. And it comes down to the simple things, remember? Because like how we do one thing is how we do everything. So that's why I always say, like, when we wake up in the morning, make our bed, make our bed. That way we feel like we got to win. And it sets us up for more wins for the rest of the day. Drink water first thing in the morning, rehydrate yourself, journal, talk about how much you love and appreciate yourself. Talk about all the ways that you're giving to people. Talk about all the ways that you're receiving. Have a space for your dreams, right? Chew your food slowly. Have appreciation for it. Do work that lights you up. Be around people that help you feel good. Smile at those little things, like sunsets and sunrises, and take note of them. Hug somebody, a spouse, a dog, a stranger, take small steps. One little change make a huge impact on the rest of your life, from your physical standpoint, your mental standpoint, your emotional standpoint. Be a person of integrity. Hold yourself accountable. Do the things that you say you're going to do to you. That's another big one. Personal responsibility. If I say, oh, hey Chad, let's call my mom every Sunday for like a month, but I don't do it, my narrative changes inside of me. I start saying, I'm not a good son. I'm a failure, right? It's honoring ourselves, honoring our word, honoring our agreements to other people. So important. Being courageous in fearful moments and doing the thing anyway, right? Being gentle with yourself, remembering you're doing the best you can, okay? So I want to get to now is some practical things and keep us in action, right? For instance, number one, keep moving, keep stretching, right? You can always take action now. You can always do the next thing now, the next moment, right? So what does that look like? Stepping, dancing, stretching, resistance training, doing things like that. Like get outside, go for a walk at least once a day, especially when the sun's out, when it's good for the eyes, for daytime hormones and nighttime hormones. Dancing. There's a saying, like when someone was depressed and they went to an indigenous healer, the indigenous healer, is very confused. He's like, we actually don't have depression in our culture. So he asked some questions. He's like, well, when did you stop singing? When did you stop dancing? When did you stop telling stories? And when did you stop listening to the sweet sound of silence, right? These things are in our DNA. They're very important to us, right? So dancing, if you're feeling bloated, if you're feeling off, put on a playlist, put on your favorite songs, put yourself in a good music, stretch first thing in the morning, right before bed, before you go for runs or walks or workouts, right? Open up the hips and the shoulders. Your body wants to move. It doesn't want to sit still. Do things that light you up with movement. Resistance training is great. That's what I love. Using weights and dumbbells and bands and things like that to improve strength, bone density, your physical performance, movement control, your walking speed, functional independence, keeping all of that healthy, really important. Another thing we can do that I want everybody to take away from here is just, hey, if you want to get healthier, remove the inflammatory foods in our life, right? Harvard Medical School's renowned Dr. Andrew Luster, he said Inflammation is a smoldering process that injures your tissues, joints, and blood vessels, and you often don't notice it until significant damage is done. Inflammation is behind so many things, right? And when you live with chronic inflammation, your body's inflammatory response can eventually start damaging healthy cells, tissues, organs over time. This can lead to DNA damage, tissue death, and internal scarring. And all of these are linked to development of many common health concerns and diseases. So you see, when we're addressing inflammation, it's one of the key things we can do to take our health back, really reducing inflammation through what we put in our body. And refined grains and carbs, those are all problematic when it comes to inflammation, right? Refined grains and carbs are broken down into sugars quickly into your bloodstream, and they cause an elevation in blood sugar, which your body has to work really hard to remove. These indigenous people, they were not eating these types of foods, right? These are human tank foods that we have. So what this does, it stimulates that inflammation in your body. So if you're eating refined carbs throughout the day, your body is in a constant state of inflammation, working to balance your blood sugar levels. And additionally, refined carbs have a high glycemic index. They have a lot of sugar, and they get broken down very rapidly in the bloodstream as sugar. This is what they were serving at that hospital, right? We got to get rid of this stuff. It promotes oxidative damage and stress all throughout your body. It's not good for you, right? So we got to watch out for that stuff. And then there's added sugars and surprising places that you'll find them. So all those sugary sweets and drinks taste good. I'm sure you know they're not doing any good for your body. Consuming high amounts of sugar in your diet does increase that inflammation. It leads to a higher risk of chronic disease. And I'm not talking about cookies and candy. I'm talking about products that have sneaky amounts of added sugar, such as granola, barbecue sauce. Like, look on the back of stuff. If you see anything with OS, sucrose, glucose, fructose, dextrose, it's just different names of sugar, right? So we want to watch out for those things. It's in salad dressings, peanut butter, baked beans, bread. They'll do anything. And studies show that when adults consume a high sugar diet, different biomarkers used to measure chronic inflammation also increase. Direct correlation, right? These biomarkers include cholesterol levels and C-reactive protein. By simply reducing your sugar intake or doing your best to eliminate added sugars completely, you can take a big step towards reducing overall inflammation and consequently your risk of developing chronic disease down the road, right? Really important. And then there's vegetable oils. These are other things that they fed us in the human tank saying they were heart healthy, but they are not heart healthy. They are not good. Trans fats are not good for us, but they still use them, especially these hydrogenated vegetable oils in almost everything, like when we eat out. Hydrogenated vegetable oils promote an inflammatory state, especially in your joints and blood vessels. And hydrogenated vegetable oils include canola oil, safflower oil, soybean oil, corn, and cottonseed oil. And many of these oils are populated in processed foods, frozen foods. They're often found in creamers, salad dressings, and fast food. So again, we're going to kind of be detectives here. Trans fats are terms used to describe the process of partial hydrogenation. And this means the oil is unnaturally altered to maintain a solid state at room temperature. Examples of trans fats include shortening and margarine. Please never have those in your body. They're not good for you anyway. That triggers inflammation in your fat tissue and it contributes to all kinds of pain and other diseases that can manifest in the body. Other thing we want to watch out for, if you have any health issues, if you're in pain, if you're feeling inflamed, if you're trying to overcome any disease, I would encourage you to watch out for nightshades. So nightshades are a group of foods that include staples like tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, goji berries, bell peppers, and hot peppers. And some people tolerate nightshades without issue. But if you're struggling with symptoms of chronic inflammation, cutting out nightshades for a while, maybe 2 to 3 months, might be a good idea. It can really lower inflammation in your body, especially if you're someone who's been eating those things all the time, thinking that you're okay, right? But you're still having symptoms. They're good things to try taking out and seeing what happens. Here's the thing, nightshades contain properties that inhibit the breakdown of the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. And if you build up an excess of acetylcholine, your muscles and joints can feel achy and stiff, and people with arthritis, reflux, autoimmune disorders can see a substantial improvement in their pain and reduce their symptoms if they cut out nightshades from their diet. So just something to consider here. And then we get into salt. Salt's something that I do believe everybody definitely needs salt. It's an essential mineral. Where we go wrong with salt is that we're eating processed and refined foods that put way too much salt in there. So it's good to put salt in your food. It's good to put a little bit of salt in your water, but where we really go wrong is the salt additives that are put in these processed and refined foods. So really be careful about the relationship with salt, because excess, and that's what happens when we use it with the processed and refined stuff, that can cause more inflammation in our joints. It can cause cellular swelling, cause us to retain way more water than we need. So I really want to be careful about salt coming from processed and refined situations. Better to add salt on our own, and that's where you can be a little bit more liberal with it. Another thing here we want to do is boost levels of anti-inflammatory nutrients. So part of getting out of this modern tank that we live in, all those pitfalls, we've got to do two things. We got to stop the good stuff, right? Stop the bad stuff, I mean. Stop all the sugars and the toxic fats and things that aren't good for us. And then boosting the anti-nutrients, right? There's things that you can add in to cool off inflammation in your body, and doing it in ways that are healthy for your body, right? So what is that? Total turmeric. That's a great way that you can decrease inflammation in your body. We're really big on turmeric here. It's over a 2,000-year-old Ayurvedic yellow spice. And several studies found that compounds in turmeric, and you may already know it's called curcumin, can reduce knee pain, improve function in people with osteoarthritis, and one even suggests it works as well as ibuprofen for reducing pain without the nasty side effects. And modern studies show that this spice carries anti-inflammatory properties, thus reducing gut inflammation, which can help with digestion and can eliminate digestive discomfort, flatulence, and bloating. And when put to the ultimate test, this spice enhances brain chemicals such as noradrenaline and serotonin, and increases the production of dopamine. So it can help make you happy, help make you more clear, and uplift your mood. And it gives a wide influence on sleep cycles, memory, and learning. So it does a whole lot of things rather than just get you out of pain and decrease inflammation. And when put to the ultimate test, there's thousands of real-world people like you who consider this spice their secret weapon against inflammation. And I would love for everyone here to try it. It's your turn to try it now if you haven't, because we're offering you the opportunity to claim a very exclusive offer that Coach Rachel and also Olivia, new to our team, will be posting in the chat here. So why choose NativePath supplements, right? So why choose NativePath turmeric for that matter? So this is turmeric and black seed oil. It's a full spectrum curcumin. It's a revolutionary formula that converts curcumin into a fully water-soluble, pH-stable form. And what that does, it makes it 185 times more bioavailable and 27 times more powerful than any other turmeric supplement you may have tried before. So that's a lot of times, what's the difference between this and that? It's what we add to it. It's that black seed oil, the curcumin, makes it more water soluble, more bioavailable. And we also implemented something called micelle technology, meaning it creates microscopic spheres that allow curcumin to get into your bloodstream faster and stay there longer. It's more potent, it's better absorbed through your body, and it'll last longer. And plus, I mentioned the black seed oil. Black seeds are packed with many vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals that your body needs to function at its optimal level. And these nutrients include, but are not limited to, calcium, folic acid, iron, zinc, B vitamins, and vitamin E. And black seeds are also loaded with a special bioactive compound called thymoquin. And thymoquin is a very strong ingredient with major antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. And soft gels are easily digested and have increased bioavailability, meaning your body can absorb it more effectively. It also has soft gels, which are very easy to swallow and even easier than capsules. And this is because they're flexible instead of hard like a capsule. You absorb it much better. And lastly, the soft gel material is in and of itself an antioxidant, which means that the contents have a longer shelf life and are well protected against UV rays and oxidation. So again, like all the other NativePath products, it comes down to the quality, the purity, how well it's going to be absorbed in your body. We always have the highest standards, and the products we have totally different than what you'll get at a CVS or something that you'll find randomly on Amazon. And we want you to feel good about that, which is why we offer, and this is new for those who don't know, we're offering now a 365-day feel good guarantee. So at NativePath, we believe in the quality of our products, which is why we now offer this 300-day feel good guarantee every time you purchase. And that means you have an entire year to experience the difference NativePath Total Turmeric can make on your nerves, muscles, and overall well-being. And if for any reason you're not 100% satisfied, you may return your unopened bottles from your most recent order to us within the 365 days. And it's delivered to your door. And all you would need to do is simply call our friendly customer care center for assistance, so you can feel assured that you can order today with confidence, knowing that you're back by our 365-day feel good money back guarantee. It's a great way for you to try things out and just really feel good about what we're doing and really notice the results that you'll get. So with that, again, Rachel has put the link in the comments section. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Olivia. They've both been super helpful in helping me prepare this presentation. And what we can do now is have time for some questions. So hopefully some questions there, but feel free to type any questions you may have in the Q&A feature or at the bottom of your screen to get any further information that we're doing about my trip to the Amazon or turmeric or inflammation or whatever you may be. I'm happy to answer as many as I can. I'm going to stop the share here and come back to the screen. So let's see if we got any questions. No Q&A questions yet. Yes, Mary, we will get you a recording. Rachel, do you have any questions that popped up in the chat that maybe people were asking?
No, you know what? We got a lot of engagement around the music. I mean, a lot of people chimed in that they sing, that they love to dance, they love music, but that got people really excited just because everyone can relate to how much music plays a role into their life.
I love that. Yeah, Sandy says, yeah, Sandy plays music, plays the piano. Thelma plays music. Billy loves music and dancing. I love that. Yeah, I love hearing that, and everyone knows it, right? It's like you can just put on music and you can feel better, and play music and sing too. Who are my singers out there? I love singing. I love singing. Yep. So very good. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Sandy, pink salt is great. It's pink Himalayan salt. That's a great thing to take. Linda, can you take turmeric if you're on blood thinners? That is something that you need to talk to your doctor about. If you're on blood thinners and you're considering turmeric, do talk to your doctor. Some people are okay with it. It just depends on the degree to which the strength of those blood thinners. But really, someone who is understanding of the density of your blood right now, that's who you're best to talk to if you have any questions, because there's an anticoagulant property to turmeric. I don't like that pepper. Okay. Yeah, Thelma, if you're having problems with the black pepper, any problem with it, it's okay if it's not right for you. That's okay. All right, we got some Q&As here.
I was going to say, Chad, there are a few questions that popped up in the Q&A.
Okay, so Virginia says, how did you choose the tribe in the Amazon? I can't even answer that question. It's like fate, just meeting certain people and positions being put in front of me, opportunities. I will tell you something interesting about the tribe. I mentioned they're big on stories, and they have a prophecy in the tribe. And the prophecy comes from a man named Mukaverna, who was a chief in the tribe over 200 years ago. And what he said in this prophecy, he was talking about the people who lived on the other side of the river, down the river. And he called them the steel people, the people with the metal and the technology and all the weapons. And he said that one day we would meet these people. And when we meet them, we shouldn't fight them because they have all these tools and weapons and they'll just destroy us. He said, instead of fighting them, what we should do is cooperate with them and find harmony with them. And he said that what's going to happen is we're going to have gifts for them and they're going to have gifts for us. So that prophecy was put out there, that dream was put out there. Other people kept dreaming about that dream, and then one day it happened. And I was fortunate and blessed to be one of the first people on the other side of the river to go in and study and learn from that tribe and get all the gifts and the lessons. And so a big part of what I do now outside of NativePath is support that tribe. So now I've done a lot of fundraisers to protect their sovereignty, so they can have good food and nice shelters. And, they're dealing with their own things like deforestation and laws in Brazil. So there's lots happening there too. So it's a beautiful story of how the prophecy is coming true, and the both sides are sharing with the other. So thank you. But yeah, Virginia, I don't know how I ended up there other than just fate. So Brenda says, I currently take your collagen peptides. I have osteoporosis for last year and thinking of going back to Fosamax again. Don't really want to due to side effects, but my recent bone density tests have gotten worse. Want to order your bone collagen soon and just need to know if I can take these together and if they are safe. I can't seem to find a doctor that can best answer the question and would appreciate it. So thank you, Brenda, for asking that. So for you, yes, I would highly suggest the bone collagen. If anyone is working through the process of making their bones stronger, the bone collagen is amazing. If you can go to YouTube, put in NativePath bone collagen, and you'll see a whole webinar where I talked about bone collagen and show you a lot of studies about that unique collagen called Fortibone. There's an amazing amount of studies that show how bone density will go up with consistent use of bone health collagen. That's the Fortibone. And it comes in about 3 to 6 months. So you really want to stick with it. But I highly encourage that. And for Brenda, what I would suggest for you, and they do work well together, the bone collagen and the regular collagen, is 1 to 2 scoops of collagen peptides a day and 1 scoop of bone health collagen. But also don't forget about the other things that are going to make your bones stronger, right? So that would include magnesium, would be really helpful. We just came out with Native Balance last week. Anywhere from 300 to 400 milligrams a day is good, about an hour before bed. Vitamin D is going to be very, very beneficial for your bones. That's often, people don't think about that. Vitamin D is really important. So we have a supplement called vitamin D3 K2, which helps you absorb it. That's going to be helpful. Getting morning sun exposure, getting evening sun exposure, all of that is going to make your bones stronger. Good sleep. And the last thing I'll mention, actually one more thing, 2 more things, is really making sure you get enough animal-based protein, because that's a full spectrum of amino acids, very helpful for your bones. So think eggs, chicken, fish, beef, things like that. And the last thing I would suggest is weight-bearing exercise. Weight-bearing exercise, so putting weight and resistance on our bones is one of the best things we can do from an exercise standpoint to make them stronger. So think about this. If we go out to outer space where there's no gravity, there's no resistance on our bones, the astronauts, when they come back, they do bone density tests, very weak bones, very quickly. It only took like 3 or 5 days, right? Very quick. But what do they do to get their bones stronger? They put them under resistance, right? So Brenda, for you, what we have to do is figure out the right way to get the right resistance on your bones. And an easy way to do that is just carry some dumbbells, and maybe not like 1 pound dumbbells or 2 pound dumbbells, maybe dumbbells that are just slightly a little heavier, maybe 5 to 10 pound dumbbells, where you just walk maybe 50 yards with really good posture, really good steps, holding you're carrying groceries, just a perfect walk. And that puts resistance on your bones. Doing that consistently every day will make your bones stronger. So think about those things. Up in the collagen peptides, try and bone health, magnesium, vitamin D, protein, morning and evening walks, and then carrying some dumbbells. Easy things you can do. You can take a before bone density test and then try it again in 3 months and 6 months, and you'll likely see some really good results with that. So I would do that and hopefully get you off the Fosamax and all the symptoms. I don't want that for you either. So please keep us updated on how you're doing. Georgia says that the black seed in turmeric give you burps. No, I mean, some people may, but generally people do not get GERD or any reflux or any burps of any kind with the turmeric. So that's generally not a problem. People do okay with that. If you do, I would say just take it with a little bit more water or take it with some food. That might help as well. Leslie says, how much milligrams per turmeric is in the combo with the black seed oil, recommended daily dose? I don't have the bottle with me right now. Rachel, if you're able to look that up, that would be helpful for Leslie. My bottle's over there, but I forget all the details sometimes. But Rachel, if you can look that up, that would be helpful. Pauline says, I have high cholesterol and my doctor says I should stop taking collagen and MCT. What do you think? Yeah, Pauline, that's a big topic with cholesterol. There's a conventional thinking that cholesterol causes heart disease. And if our cholesterol goes up, our risk for heart disease goes up. And that's just simply not the actual truth. There's a much bigger picture to that. Does collagen and MCT cause heart disease? Absolutely not, right? What causes heart disease? It's the sugars that we're talking about. It's the inflammatory foods, the toxic fats that we're talking about, right? It's the sedentary lifestyle. It's not getting enough sleep and sun, right? So collagen is a healthy protein. It's the most abundant protein in the body. Everyone should have it. MCT is an outstanding fat, the healthiest, purest fats you can have, especially when it's derived from coconuts, right? You may take the MCT and you may take the collagen and your total cholesterol may go up, but there's a bigger picture here, right? In terms of what's actually going on with your risk. So deeper topic. There's a lot of other doctors who would probably disagree with your doctors, but I'm not going to get in the way of that. Definitely like talk to your doctor. It's just, I don't think it's the whole picture. And I don't believe that collagen or MCT is going to increase your risk for heart disease in any way. Bernie says, I've heard bioperine is really important in the body. Utilizing turmeric, is there black pepper in your turmeric? I've heard about black seed oil, but unfamiliar with its benefits. So Bernie, we actually used to do that. We used to have our first iteration of turmeric had bioperine in there, and it's good. It definitely helps. But when it comes to what's possible with turmeric, especially with the black seed oil, getting it up to being 185 times more bioavailable, all the benefits of black pepper, the black seed oil, we felt much better about that. So what it can do for the mind, the antioxidants, how it replenishes the cells, decreases inflammation. It really makes it just a product that you're getting more bang for your buck and you're able to absorb it more. So that's the big reason for that. Bioperine is good. It's just not to what we feel is great. Again, we used to have it with bioperine. We chose to do it and upgrade it with the black seed oil, and we feel really good about it. Brenda says, should I wait or hold off on taking Fosamax for now? Thanks. I will let you, again, talk to your doctor about that. What I would do regardless is get a baseline bone density test, try those other things, and then do it again. But really, I for liability purposes, we can't tell you like to do this or that, not that with a drug. Always talk to your doctor about that. Ruth says, should I just take, you just said take magnesium just before bed, but the bottle says with a meal. Well, you can take it without. The bottle is being more conservative. I typically take it about 90 minutes, 2 hours after bedtime. So I typically try to eat that last meal when the sun is up around 6:30 to 7, and then another one around 9 p.m. for the magnesium. That's a good time to take it. But yeah, you don't have to take it like, when you think about it, you're probably still digesting food 2 hours later. So that technically probably is with a meal, but you don't have to think about it like, oh, I need to take this magnesium and chew it down with a, steak or something like that. Should collagen help with inflammation? So Sandy, collagen is not going to help with inflammation in the way that turmeric does, or the way that krill does, for instance. Collagen is it's more of a building block. It's not so much cooling things off. That is really for things like turmeric and krill oil. So different things altogether. And Debbie says, will bone collagen work synergistically with osinol? And I'm a recovering allopath, a conventional medical doctor who got over it, struggling for years to reverse osteoporosis, all different alternative regimens. Fosamax gave me GERD. Yep. Erosive esophagitis. Yep. And ulcers. Yep. Yeah. So lots of symptoms with all that, Debbie. Yeah, I get it. As far as will it work synergistically? It should. Yeah, you shouldn't have it. There's no problems with people taking bone health collagen and still doing the conventional route if they're taking any medications or bone density. There's no contraindications with it in any way. The only thing that people really need to be careful about with what we're talking about today is if they're on blood thinners and they're considering the turmeric or they're considering krill, it would be good to make sure that you're clear there. But nothing with bone collagen is a contraindication to those medications. So it should be all good. Brenda says, thank you for answering my questions in detail. I was just wondering if people could take Fosamax and biophosphates in general with collagen peptides would be safe. Thanks. Yes, as I just mentioned to Debbie or Dr. Silverman, yes, you should be fine with that. But if you have any questions about it, to be safe, I would just make your doctor aware and just get their approval. Pat says, I often forget to take turmeric 30 to 60 minutes before a meal. How important is it to take before? And can I take it after a meal as well? Yeah, so Pat, just goes back to paying attention to your symptoms. Like if you're having any GERD or burping or any weird things, then I would go back to making sure you take it more consistently around meals. But if you don't notice anything, you're probably good. There's a lot of people will put out rules of thumb, like, oh, you always got to take this one with meals and always not. In my experience, I just haven't found that to be the case with a lot of supplements. The only things I'm timing wise always cognizant about is coffee in the morning, vitamin D in the morning, magnesium at night. Everything else, I'm a little bit more lenient on. What do I take it with a meal or not a meal? What I would encourage everybody to do is really pay attention to your body and how your body responds to what you put into it and the state that it's in. So if you're fasted, you're taking a supplement, How does it feel like it's absorbing? Are you getting nauseous? Are you getting burps? Are you getting reflux? That might be a good time to try it with something else and see if you can change that. So play with it in that way. What do you think about, Virginia said, what do you think about jumping on a mini trampoline every day? Heck yeah, Virginia. I love it. And this is a great time to just talk about shaking and movement in general, especially as we age, right? I think shaking, like you can just get up and move your body around. It's so great for loosening tension in the body, so great for moving the nervous system around, the lymphatic system, where just fluids and stuff can get stuck. Just moving it around can be very helpful. We have NativePath culture calls where we'll just get up and dance and shake and move around. And it's amazing to see people come back to their chairs and everyone's smiling, everyone's upbeat. And it just takes like 30 to 60 seconds. So definitely good to do that, Virginia. And a good thing to do also is, I just mentioned shaking for like 30 to 60 seconds or maybe even 2 minutes, to do that throughout the day, right? So if you have a trampoline or if you just want to get up and shake your body, doing it like every 30 to 45 minutes, they found that is actually better than going to the gym and like getting on a cardio thing for like 30 minutes, right? It's better to have incremental movement throughout the day so things don't get stagnant. And you're welcome, Brenda. Would the turmeric benefit me if I'm taking your lion's mane supplement? Yes, because Bernie, they're different things. Remember, the turmeric is really geared towards inflammation, and the lion's mane, that's good for the nervous system, cognition, and things like that. So we're going for different things there. And if people haven't tried the lion's mane, it's really good. I love that for afternoon pick me up. Georgia says bioperine is recommended for your brain and body for MCI. Since black seed oil doesn't have it, should I find a supplement and add it to NativePath turmeric? No, I mean the main thing again for turmeric, it's good for the brain and the body, but the main intention of it for turmeric, I would say, is to help the absorption of the turmeric. That's also in a big part of why the black seed oil is there too. So with the intention being that, I wouldn't say you would need to go find bioperine somewhere else, because I would say the black seed oil and the turmeric is already doing that for you. So should be good. Debbie says, are vibration plates really effective? They are. They're really effective, but I think you could find I think the trampoline you'll find is just as effective. And to be honest with you, I think you could even find just shaking with nothing at all is just effective. So if I don't want people to hear, oh, the vibration plates are the best thing, and it's $2,000 and they feel like they can't move, so don't wait on that. Don't wait on that. You can get up and shake and move at any time. We could even do it right now if you want. So that's my take. So that. All right, everybody. Yeah, thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Billy, for joining. Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed today. Hope you enjoyed today. Just really what we're talking about here. This is a topic that me sharing a little bit more of my experience and what it means to me. It's really special for me to share that, very personal. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for all your questions and really being a part of what we're doing here at NativePath. And let's keep going, everybody. We're gonna keep doing these webinars, but let's keep going and supporting each other and eating good food and moving and staying on that path, waking up every day. Really being consistent. If you're not in the private Facebook group, please join us. We have this going on live in the private Facebook right now. We have a community of over 55,000 people who are all supporting each other. So you can just go to Facebook, enter in NativePath private community, join. Rachel will let you in, and then create a post and say hi. Let us know how you like today's webinar. We'd love to see from you and just keep up with how you're doing. So, all right, some great questions, great responses. Love the shaking. Okay, all right, everybody. Thank you so much. Hope you all have a wonderful day. If we didn't get any questions, just please go ahead and Rachel can forward that to me afterwards, or you can email cs@nativepath.com and we'll get you your questions answered. And yes, we have a library of these webinars on YouTube, and we also will email you this recording after this recording, and we'll also have the link in there where you can get the turmeric. So thank you again. Time to go sing, play some songs. I will see you all very soon. Have a great weekend. Yoo-hoo!